It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Thanks for joining us, folks. I'm Sam Lesante. We're talking today about gang activity. In fact, we're going to be talking about the second in a series of community discussions to help combat increasing gang activity in northeastern Pennsylvania. Folks, if you remember last year, we had 3 guests on the show, and I'm happy to have them back again. Darrell Dones, who is a supervisory special agent of the Behavioral Science Unit of the FBI and a nationally renowned gang expert, is here again, along with Congressman Barletta and State Senator John Yudicak. It's interesting because the both of them, it's a nonpartisan group getting awareness to all of us in northeastern Pennsylvania. It's a fabulous thing. The second series is combating gang activity in our school districts. Darrell, thanks for joining us again. Nice to see you.
Same here, Sam. Thanks for having me.
How was your year? Good? Busy?
Good year, Sam. A lot of good things have been happening, especially with this initiative. I'm proud to say that I'm a part of it, and I'm back to see it through.
You know, I think in northeastern Pennsylvania, you know, and I think Lou and John will attest to this, going back maybe 20 years ago, 25 years, you would never have dreamt that we're going to be having a show talking about gangs in northeastern Pennsylvania, because all of us grew up in the small communities, etc. So it's a scary thing. But as Congressman Barletta said before the show, one of the things I think his biggest accomplishment was to admit that we did have a problem here, okay? But let's go back to last year and talk about what the first series was and what was accomplished by that. Then we'll talk about how the congressman and the senator are working together to help further education here.
Okay. As you well know, Sam, the initiative, the gang initiative that we put together is a regional focus. It's a conservative focus that is not for us to be alarmists and frighten the community into thinking that there's an overwhelming problem that can't be handled, or even that there's a problem that's out of control. That's not the point. The point is for us to do a proactive approach with the congressman and the senator's leadership, spearheading this initiative. I'm here as a consultant, and the first part of the 5-part series that we're addressing is gang awareness that we did last June, I believe. The gang awareness was to get the whole concerted effort together in terms of what gangs are all about, what are we looking for, what the problems that we need to address in the community. It's not a problem, just one ethnic problem or one problem with any particular group of people, but a concerted effort with them also that is what we're looking at. The number 2 effort is schools and education. This is the second of the 5-part series, schools and education. This is to educate the school districts, which we've done. The congressman and the senator will speak upon that in a minute. But it's to educate the administration, to include the superintendents first, followed by the teachers and instructors, and then follow up with the students. From there, we'll go into community and community leaders. We'll do the same thing with the community and leaders, not just training and education for them, but to bring them into the fold also, here again in this regional approach, to use their professionalism, the strengths and the resources that they have to help us combat the gang problem. From there, we'll go into the consolidated feedback arena. This particular one is probably the less specific of all the 5. This is where we get together and look at the program as a whole. What has worked, what hasn't worked, where are we going from here, give feedback, and if we need to adjust, we'll adjust at that point in the 4th series. The 5th and final series will be the overview report, where we'll gain some statistical data, some measurements of how well we've done or how poorly we've done, and from there, look at also, again, where we need to adjust to make the entire program a success.
Now, you have traveled all over the country.
Yes.
Okay, as I said here, you're a nationally renowned gang expert. Have you conducted these series in any other places in the United States?
Yes, there's been several other places, Sam, that I've been privileged to work in. I pretty much have worked all over the United States, and one of the things I'd like to point out is this is the first time in the 25 years that I've been in this business that I've ever seen bipartisan work being conducted by a senator or a congressman that have put politics aside, and it's all about the community. That's what continues to bring me back to this region, to the northeastern Pennsylvania region. This is something that I think that works, and because Congressman Barletta and Senator Yudicak is the teeth in this program, they are the resources, they are whatever we need in this type of program. I'm more than confident that this program will work under their guidance and leadership.
Have those other series that you have conducted,
Yes.
have they been beneficial? I'm hoping that this series, and it looks like it's on a way, and Senator Yudicak will tell us his input.
Right.
Have they been successful? I mean, in bringing the awareness factor.
Well, I'll tell you, Sam, in looking at over the last 6 years, the most recent of 6 programs, I can tell you that 3 of the 6 kind of got behind, and they became more responsive than proactive. And because of that, by the time I showed up and I actually put the same type of initiative together with a little twist based on what part of the country that I'm in, it hadn't been as great, we hadn't got as great a turnaround with putting the program together as we have here. And one of the reasons is that here we're more proactive than reactive. The question has always been, when I've arrived in the first 3 that I have in mind, well, what do we do now? And my response can only be just that. Respond more to the same. Continue to do what you're doing. Hold the line, because we're a little too late. You know, not that nothing can be done, but at that point, we're in the door-kicking phase. We're in the strict law enforcement zero tolerance phase. Whereas in this program, I feel that we'll be very successful because we're in the proactive stage. Let's minimize, and I have to be quite honest with the concurrence of both the senator and the congressman. Are we really going to get rid of gangs? I don't think so, to be honest. But we can curtail gang activity. We're able to squash a lot of the violence, and that's what we're looking to do. Squash the violence, slow it down, and keep them moving in or around this particular region. And I think a proactive approach in what we're doing now will be able to handle that.
You know, it's interesting to say that it must be refreshing on your part to be able to come in and work with nonpartisan and
Yes.
no personal agendas and politicians. I always say, you know, good government makes for good politicians. And it must be refreshing to be able to come in and work without any personal agendas and working with people who are truly, sincerely wanting to help their constituents and the people.
Absolutely, Sam. I give you an example, an anecdotal situation here. We've heard Congressman Barletta say off the air that he was in denial early years when he was mayor, and he quickly became at the forefront of getting gang awareness out there as he started to get that awareness, to be educated himself on what gangs are all about and how they operate. That's huge. I've never heard, you know, not just a politician, but a leader say that before. And to be able to be a strong leader like that, you got to make those types of commitments, make those type of statements when you're wrong, and know that you're wrong, and be in the forefront of saying it, and look for others to follow in the footsteps thereof. Hadn't seen that before. So for me to continue to come back, one of the things that when we started to put this initiative together, that I made clear to both the senator and congressman that I can't get involved in any political grievances or problems or issues whatsoever. I'm a public servant, as you well know, and I have to keep it like that. And they assured me that it won't be, and it has not been any partisan fallout or fighting back and forth or bickering. Just a wealth of knowledge, resources, and they've just been great to work with. So I'm in full commitment for the full ride.
Thank you very much. Folks, I'm talking to Darrell Dones, who's Supervisory Special Agent of the Behavioral Science Unit of the FBI and is nationally renowned gang leader. We'll be coming back. We'll talk to Congressman Barletta and Senator Yudicak. Yudicak said education is one of the strongest weapons we have in the fight against the spread of gangs and drugs in our school. Education, folks, is so important. That's the reason why we're having these series. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us, folks. I'm Sam Lesante, and I want to welcome all our new viewers in Schuylkill County. Hope you're enjoying the shows. We're talking about gang activity, folks, and on the show I have Darrell Dones, who is the Special Agent on Behavioral Science from the FBI, and Congressman Barletta is here, and State Senator John Yudicak. Congressman, when you said something interesting about, when you were the mayor, one of your greatest accomplishments was that you knew that there was a problem with gang activity.
Well, at first, Sam, I went into denial because you're the mayor of the city, and you always want to show your city in its best light. You always have your Chamber of Commerce hat on. You want businesses to move in, people to live here. And when you start to see a problem, as I did, and it started really for me with seeing graffiti, and at first just thinking it's youth disrespecting property, you don't want to believe that there's actually could be a gang activity in your community. But I realized that if I was going to be honest about eliminating this or trying to get ahead of it, I had to learn about it. And what I found was through my own education at the time, because I didn't have anybody to come here and help me as we're trying to do now, what I saw is that it's not something that you just sweep under the carpet and deny, that if you really want to get in front of it, you need to shed a light on the situation, and then you need community buy-in. You can't do it just from law enforcement. You need to have the community buy into it. So it was really a self-education for me in the beginning, and the fact that Senator Yudicak and myself are able to partner and have someone like Darrell, who's a special agent with the FBI, come in here and help us with this program, that we really believe that we will be able to provide the education for all of the communities to get in front of this problem so that it doesn't grow.
So your input from as a U.S. Congressman is what? And then we know. So we have a congressman and a state senator.
Well, we're going to tackle this not only from the state level, but from the federal level. But more important than our titles, Sam, I think the important thing is that John is putting his Democrat Party aside. I'm putting my Republican Party aside, and we're saying, we're going to spearhead this as community leaders that bring everybody together, that bring politicians together, elected officials together, community leaders together, superintendents, teachers, parents. It has to be a total buy-in for this program to succeed, and we're very confident with our initial reaction that we're well on our way to having a successful program that will help our area.
Senator Yudicak, first of all, you said your education is one of the strongest weapons we have in the fight against the spread of gangs and drugs in our school. And expand on it, because I think that's key.
Well, it's frightening when you hear Special Agent Dones tell you that when these gangs are trying to recruit, when they're trying to recruit members, they're looking at children between the ages of 8 and 12. They're little leaguers. They should be worrying about Little League, not worrying about getting sucked into gang life. So education is important. As Congressman Barletta mentioned, the biggest reason that gangs get a foothold in our school is because of denial. If we deny that there's an existence of a problem, we're not going to be able to combat that problem. So we want to make sure, and we're reaching out. We had a great meeting today with Dr. Antonelli in Hazleton School District, Dr. Namey in the Wilkes-Barre School District. Yesterday, the congressman got together with superintendents from Luzerne and Lackawanna County. This is a regional problem that we're going to approach through a regional partnership and education, getting into those schools to make sure that there's an alternative. I think one of the other important things that Agent Dones mentions, we have to give these kids we have to give them an opportunity to be a part of something greater than themselves. They have to feel that they're a part of a successful school, that they're part of a community, and that's what this regional partnership is doing. We're going to engage the community, those at-risk youth. We're going to engage them to make sure that they have a feeling of belonging to this community, belonging to their schools. The enforcement is part of it, but right now it's about awareness and education, and I think this 5-part series is going to be very successful in our community.
I asked you prior to the show, I said, what has been accomplished from the first series until this series? You want to tell the audience what you told me?
Well, the fact that we have Luzerne and Lackawanna County officials coming together, you have a congressman and a senator coming together, you have superintendents, all sharing information, all putting together a network to show the gangs that are coming into our communities we're united, our numbers are bigger, and we're stronger, and we're gonna fight for a good life for our kids.
Lou, do you think, like, what should parents and be aware of? What should the communities be aware of? I mean, we had. I mean, last time you had 200 people, which is a good showing. We wish we had 500 more people. Okay, that's the purpose of the show here, is to try to get to the thousands of people that can't make it. What kind of message? And I'll get to you as far as the fear factor. What kind of message should we be learning here?
Well, what parents need to know, first of all, what signs are there and how do they stay involved with their children. They need to know, number one, Sam, who their friends are. You need parent involvement. You need to look for things as if, do they have money that they shouldn't have? Some of the things that you'll find through this education process, that program that we're going to lay out for everyone, will teach parents what to look for, what signs to look for, and what positive actions they could take to stay involved in their child's life, to keep them on the straight and narrow so that they are not recruited by gangs, because there is competition out on the playgrounds, out in the streets, to try to entice these children into joining gangs. Well, parents have to be proactive as well, and we're going to teach some of the things that the parents can do, not only to recognize whether or not there might be some activity with their own children, but also what they can do to be proactive to keep them away from gangs.
And that's what I want to ask you, Darrell. What are some of the like he just mentioned some of them. So what other things would you be telling parents or guardians about what they should be looking for, and what should they do?
Well, in this program, Sam, we'll be addressing that tonight in the town hall. And one of the things that we'll be looking at with the panel of guests, all three of us sitting here along with others locally, the parents, there are guidelines out there that they don't know about. The gang awareness that we're going to give them are some of the things that Congressman Barletta just mentioned. Awareness. Know where your children are and who they're with. If you see signs of them wearing specific colors all the time, for example, red, black, yellow, one specific color all the time, that's an indication that they could be with gangs. The way that they wear their clothes or hats or specific garments that are not something that should be traditional in the neighborhood or the community or even in your home. The wearing of color shoestrings or laces. Pull their pockets out. One of the things that you see with gangs now, a trend that you see, is they color their pockets. And when they want to represent the gang, they'll pull their pockets out and they're colored. And that lets you know what gang that they're representing. If they're wearing rosary beads, which is a big thing, a trend that we're seeing across the mid-Atlantic all the way to the eastern coastal cities, to include here, is the wearing of rosary beads, the color rosary beads that are being indicated by each gang is another part of that awareness.
Hold that thought. Folks, I'm talking to Darrell Dones, who is a special agent for the Behavioral Science Unit of the FBI, and Congressman Barletta and Senator Yudicak. What I want to ask when we come back is then I have a suspicion, what do I do? The website, folks, you can go to is gripe4kids.com. Gripe4kids.com. Or go to our website, ssptv.com, and we could link different things to give you more of an awareness. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Sam Lesante. Folks, we're talking about gang activity in northeastern Pennsylvania. Darrell Dones is here, a special agent for FBI, Congressman Barletta, and Senator Yudicak. Okay, you, John, Lou, and you mentioned different things, you know, and I'm sure there's a slew of other things. But all right, I'm suspecting something from my kid. There's something that's not right. What do I do?
Well, the first thing you don't want to do, Sam, is you don't want to, whether you're an adolescent, a young adult, or a parent, you don't want to respond to gangs yourself. You know, leave it to the experts. And what I mean by that is you have a gang situation where you've come in contact with a gang or vice versa. First thing you want to do is call your local law enforcement agencies. Usually they have a hotline. You just mentioned the gripe hotline earlier, which is a local hotline. There are a host of, in this region, we have the FBI Safe Streets Task Force that directly deals with gangs. You can call them. They're easily found on your websites, also inside of your telephone directories. There are all ways of doing that. Another one is the assistance through schools. There are school SROs or officers, police officers there that are in the schools. Let them know that you're having problems with gangs. And you can also do the same through other leaders.
But as a parent, okay, sometimes I don't know, you know, I don't want to involve too many people. I want to talk to my kid, my son, my daughter. I have suspicions, you know, before I start calling cops and bringing other people in. I want to approach my kid, but you say, hey, look, hey, Jim, you know, let's talk. I mean, and what approach do we use here? I mean, if the kid's already involved that you don't know, you know, it becomes a touchy thing, because then if he goes and tells his friends, and then there's a fear factor, will they come after me? Will they? There's all these crazy, because drugs do crazy things to people.
That's right, and that's a good point, Sam, because usually at that point, a child or a kid has already been initiated. If they've already been initiated, they're not going to talk to you about or tell you that affirm the things that you're seeing are true. They're going to try to hide them from you even more. Your suspicions are going to become more apparent at that point. One of the things you want to do, you know your child as well as anyone. You know, you want to ask them about the strange behavior that you may be seeing. Why are they hanging out late at night? What's wrong with the sporadic behavior, whether it's physicality or whether it's mental behavior that they're seeing when there's not a problem there for that type of behavior. You address those directly. You know your child, and if you see or have any types of suspicion that that kid could be using drugs, hanging out with the wrong person, or even doing any type of weird behavior which could be gang related, then that's when you want to get involved with your local law enforcement agency.
We have 2 minutes left. Senator Yudicak, 1 minute. Tell me, you know, what your thoughts are.
Well, in that conversation, if you're paying attention to your child, you're halfway there, and so that you can prevent them from getting into that gang life. I mean, that's what we want to accomplish with this. We understand that there's an enforcement level for those that are already into the gang life. We're going to have to work with local law enforcement, state police, the federal authorities. But we're really trying to reach those that have not entered that gang life yet. We're really trying to educate, get the training and expertise, the best practices. We're not trying to recreate something here. I think we do have something unique in terms of the partnership, in that we're putting the politics aside, working together as a community, as neighbors, as friends, as parents, trying to fight to give these kids a better life.
Congressman?
Well, what we need now, Sam, you know, we've started this ball rolling. We went through the gang awareness. The fact that it doesn't mean that everyone here is in a gang and that we have to all lock our doors and we can't go out. The fact is, if there's 5 members, 10 members, we want to stop it where it's at. We don't want this problem to get any bigger, and what we need is a community buy-in. We met with the Hazleton Area School District today. I could tell the people here at home they are committed to joining with us. Same thing in Wilkes-Barre. We need community leaders to buy in. We need local media to buy in. We need parents to buy in and join us, and as we move forward, we will send a message to gangs that not here, not in our homes, not in our neighborhoods, not our kids.
Let me add a little personal commentary here. I want to ditto what Darrell said. I think the both of you working together and doing what you're doing, and I know you guys a long time, and I'm not supporting, I'm not endorsing, but in this case, I'm endorsing what the both of you are doing. I think it's fabulous. I think you guys are doing the right thing. And I just, you have our cooperation, and I'm sure our media sponsors, Standard Speaker, will do whatever we can, Citizens Voice, whatever we can to help. And Darrell, it's always a pleasure talking with you, okay?
Same here.
Time goes real fast, but I'm hoping the series does well, and we'll do whatever we can to promote it, okay?
Thanks for having me, Sam.
Okay. Folks, you're watching the Sam Lesante Show. The website, Gripe, G-R-I-P-E, the number 4, kids, gripeforkids.com, or go to our website, ssptv.com. I'm Sam Lesante. We'll see you next time.